Board. Gay, 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 gay. Gay, 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 gay. Board games, board games. It's what I'm talking about. Board games, board games. I'm not gonna shout. I am starting off this streaming with a little bit of singing. And today, come and join me as I talk about people being friendly. This person, when I joined their Facebook group, they showed me a bunch of icons and said, which is your favorite? And please choose. And this can be one just for you. And they made me feel rather good. Let's talk about board games. Board games is what I'm talking about. I'm making people feel special. I'm not gonna shout hello and good morning, good afternoon, good whatever it is, wherever you are. This is episode, I believe, 480. My gosh, it's almost 500 of Busy Beats and Briefer Bladder. Today I'm chatting about, just making people feel special, like individuals being individual and saying, hey, this is why you're special. And a quick hello, Timmy. It is lovely to see you. Thank you for joining again. It's always lovely to have you here. And if you're watching, my question to you is, what has someone done recently that made you feel special? What's a time when someone maybe bought something, or it could be customer service related, or it could maybe be your friends, but what's a time recently that you've felt special because of something someone did? Let me move on to my recent highlights, living life and seeing the sights, recent highlights, playing games and other delights, recent highlights. So, I would like to copy paste this. So I had some achievements. Firstly, I did a bunch of messaging of people. So late last night I was feeling, this is good. I'm catching up with social media. I'm writing a bunch of messages. I'm being creative. Oh, you know what? I've got an episode 500 coming up soon. I should start messaging people. So on Facebook, basically I messaged all the people that I've been communicating with in the past 3 or 4 months. That I think, okay, these would be good people to have on. That doesn't mean that there's not other people that I would like to have on. Of course, there's some dream guests that I'd like to reach out to. If you're watching and you would like to come onto my 500th show, let me know. It's going to be quite similar to my 400th show. It's going to be a really long 24 plus hour thing. And look at stuffbybez.com/streams to check that out. Also, I did ring up Enterprise. So I rang them up and stuff has been sorted as much as I can. There's basically nothing more I can do. And whilst I'm feeling like, oh my gosh, I should be doing more about this, it's like, there's nothing I can do. I did that. I asked my friends, when can they come? What's your availability? I've not decided a date yet, but it looks like 31st and 1st might be the dates that we need to go for. I would like to kind of chat with Chris and McCall tomorrow and decide the date, but I've laid the groundwork. So I'm feeling good about that. It's like, I feel like given the event, for those who don't know, basically van got stolen. I didn't manage to move yesterday. I did end up, after I phoned up Enterprise, I ended up sleeping for the whole most of the day. Even just talking about it now is giving me another stress headache, because it's like, what if they don't believe me? What if, hopefully it will be covered by the insurance, but, it's pretty stressful. And, anyway, that is that. Of course, there are highlights. Supportive friends. People said, hey, it's going to be okay. Someone on Facebook who was showing lots of pictures of colouring in a game about whimsical creatures and trying to identify them after someone makes noises. Seeing someone else colouring in my creatures was lovely. And also I saw on Twitter, someone did a photo thread about old Newgrounds meets, which were meets by the website known as Newgrounds, which I think it was from like 17 years ago, something like that. So I was a bit younger. I looked quite different in some of the photos. I even have facial hair. That was before I started allowing myself to be as feminine as I was like. So, but yeah, those were nice things that have happened recently. Hello, Yoda. It is lovely to see you. I hope you are generally well. And also, Elaine, thank you for jumping in. I am here in Downhills Park, still not moved, given, the catastrophe that happened. But I hope that you're well. And if you have any recent highlights or anything you would like to share, please go ahead. Or indeed, any examples of being made to feel special, let me know. But in the meantime, I'm going to, or indeed any questionably quick questions. But let's start with a brilliant thing. Brilliant thing. What's a little thing which is brilliant? And I want to talk about being treated as an individual. Someone, it can be as simple as someone using your name. It can be as simple as complex as someone making a thing just for you and spending hours on a project for you. The key thing is that something is being done with you specifically in mind. But being made to feel special, I think that's a really important thing in these days, because like sometimes we can have, and why is that good? Why is that important? Why is it brilliant? Well, for the ego, you need to have some degree of ego. Otherwise it leads to bad confidence. Otherwise it leads to feeling like, oh, I don't have anything to offer the world. It can lead to depression. That's not good at all. So yes, you need to remind people that they're brilliant, that they're individuals, that they are excellent people. Through the games that you played, like, this is an excellent game. It reminds me of you because of this. Or maybe, hey, I played this game and I thought of you. You could, it could be to do with games. It could be nothing to do with games. It could be like just, hey, I'm drawing this, but like, and this looks like you. Something, or I wrote this song about you, and like with Elaine, because assuming Elaine's listening in the chats, like, I just love the fact that Elaine, through writing the song about board games not being food, Elaine really inspired me through that, and also the work out what board games these things are, inspired me to write a bunch of songs. And then I was like, oh, this is a song. Thank you, Elaine, and like Elaine became like a private audience, and it was really, really nice to have, a bit of frankly ego boosting and support from Elaine, saying, yes, this is interesting, this is something worth sharing. Do you know what I mean? And we can build each other up, and that is maybe something about games itself. Like when we are at a game, when we're sitting around a table together, it's not just about this faceless person being on the other side of the table as you, and you're working out how they might, what's the optimal move to reply to your game in Go. It's not just about working out the optimal move in an abstract or manner. It's about the individual. That's why I love games that bring out the individual. Things like auction games, where people can really express themselves, and then it becomes like, oh, this person's a little bit timid. Oh wait, this person, Ian, even if Ian doesn't want the thing, they won't let you have it for a cheap price. They will bump it up. But then again, that means that that Ian will keep taking it up until this point, and then you can maybe duck out and let Ian have something that they don't really want for a high price. And you get to know things like with the splits in Tifa Tashin, with all these things. It's about people being individuals. And I think that's a form of self-expression, but also identifiability. Sorry, I'm on my phone, so it's sometimes hard to hit the buttons. Come on. I'm going to go to questionably quick questions is the next section. It's not an interrogation, it's just a questionably quick question section. So if anyone has any questions, then please shout them out now. Questionably quick questions. Otherwise, I am going to go to the main topic. Questionably quick questions is the next section. Okay, so doing special things for individuals. Yes, I want to talk more about this experience that I had recently. It was just yesterday. It would have actually been one of my highlights had it not been the main topic. And I mean, it was one of my highlights, but I'm going to talk about it now. So yes, doing special things for individuals. Someone has a Facebook group called Board Game Hype. You can see the link there. The reason that I want to talk about this is because of how I was treated when I joined the group. I saw, oh, this person's giving them a shout out. I wonder who this individual is. Let me check out their group. Let me check out what's going on. Oh, is this a group for videos? Okay, sure, I can. Let me just join in and see what's going on. The first thing I see is that at the top, when you join, these are the benefits you get. Number one, you get to pick your own little avatar and you get to name it and it will be you. And then down below, there wasn't a lot of activity. There's like 70 members in this group so far. And most of the posts are by the person running the group. And most of the posts are saying, hello, welcome, blah, blah, blah. This is your avatar. And let me ask you this question. And so the question would be somewhat personalized to that person. And that was really nice. So I joined the group, I was accepted, and then I got sent a message saying, hey, Bez, thank you for joining my group. Here's a bunch of avatars. They showed me like 16 different things. They said, which one of these would you like? They all had spectacles. They all had like smiley faces or grumpy faces, or one was like a starburst, one was like bubbles, a few of them were like little swirls, and they said, you are allowed to change the color of the glasses if you want. I went for one that was basically red but with blue glasses, because if you look, my glasses are actually currently blue. I don't know if that quite shows up. And so I was like, yeah, that's perfect, just leave it. And then the person said, oh, thank you for joining the group. Tomorrow I will ask a question. It's something to do with your game design or who you are. And that's a lovely way to join the group. And I think that when someone interacts, yeah, just doing that, putting that special effort into a response, because I wanted to talk about juiciness. Like, with video games, there's this concept called juiciness. It's like when you press a button, if you've got a lot of interaction, then that's called high juiciness. So there was an old game called Sticky Balls, and I think I played this on a Windows machine. It was like a free downloadable, and then they made a better version. And good morning, Alex. It's lovely to see you. And Elaine, I'm sorry I didn't quite get to your question. I will get to it later. But yes, so let me phone problems. Let me get that off. I mean, it is all a brilliant thing, making people feel special. But when you click a button in a video game, if there's more reaction from based on what you do, that's considered high juiciness. So like in this game, it was basically like snooker. So you shot a button and then you dragged it and then you released it and it would go pew, 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 pew. And then it would sometimes stick to other balls, and then sometimes the balls would all end up stuck. And ideally you get like a shot in one. That kind of physics engine, the make one release and then it goes shooting everywhere, that's a source of delight. By the same nature, I think it's part of our makeup when we're being social. People want to be the effect. People want to make things happen. If I tickle you and then you laugh, that's a source of delight. If you say something and then I smile or I'm amused by your joke, then, that's going to be a source of delight. You get what I mean? And then if you say, oh, I joined a group, and it's like, oh, thank you, and it's just crickets, that's not great. But if you say, hey, thank you, this list of people, that is you know, a step above that. But then if you're like, hey, here's one avatar and you're allowed to name it, and I'll ask you a personal question tomorrow. I mean, wow, I'm already feeling like, wow, I'm invested in this group. That's really cool. Like, what's this person doing? They're really keen and on learning about the other people. And of course, I am as well. But you know, I just thought that was really fantastic. And do 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 do. So, firstly, I want to catch up with the comments. I'll catch up. So, firstly, I don't actually have a favorite flower or plant. I can think of orchids only because I once did a project all about orchids when I was in college, um, doing graphic design. I think year one or year two, we had to do things about orchids, so it's a pleasant memory. And I drew lots of orchids, and I was like, yeah, you know what? Orchids are a pretty cool flower. They've got a good variety. They've got some good shapes. Thank you very much, Alex. This is lovely, kind words. I don't know if this was inspired by me going through a bit of um, difficult times with Van, or if it's just generally trying to make me feel special. But either way, I really appreciate it. Thank you very much. Um, Elaine, you know, I'll always get to like questions, even if it's a little bit out of order. And thank you for being an excellent person as well. Jess, talking about excellent people, Jess, you know, is such an excellent person. Like, we literally met up a tree. I mean, we were part of the same walking group, but then we went to a tree that's nice to climb up, and then we were sitting in, and I was like, oh, hello, who are you? Oh, I'm Jess. Oh, I'm Bez. And then we started chatting, and then Jess liked climbing, and one time we went climbing together. True story. Um, do 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 do. Making someone smile is, I think, one of the greatest joys in the world. Yes, absolutely. And I think that not only is that then something that's nice for them, but yeah, also it's like not only, hey, someone's smiling because of me, that's fantastic. Whether it's, and sometimes that's the thing about games and videos that Elaine makes with the clown paints and like the jokes and the insightful commentary. You know, sometimes you get reactions. Can you still see me? Jess is so tired, and yes, I do have long nails, Jess. Jess says, I'm still menstruating, taught all day, drank wine. Hello, I'm back. Sorry about that. And now there's a whole bunch of comments that I might, that I can't get to. I'm very sorry about that. That's apparently what happens if someone tries to ring me while I'm streaming, because yeah, there's no way for me to turn off the phone. I mean, there were definitely some comments that I wish I'd been able to um, chat about, but if I missed your comments, I'm very sorry. Can you just please write it again? Many apologies. Um, I have no idea. I just pressed the red X and then it's happened again. Um, so, yes, making people feel special. I wanted to talk about a little bit about how I've tried to make people feel special in the past. Um, Jess says, we met up a tree maybe in 2010. Yep, that sounds about correct. And Timmy wants bacon and sunny side up eggs. Well, Timmy, if that's something that you really want, you have the ability to get it for yourself. I believe in you. You go, girl. Anyway, yeah, like making people feel special. So when I'm sending out a game, re- since my first ever Kickstarter for In a Bind, which is now known as Yogi, and it's done very well. But even back then, like I had 173 backers. I remembered that number specifically because it was so incredibly meaningful to me. I mean, the latest Kickstarter was like 850. I can't remember the exact number, but like I remember 173. All of those people meant so much. For the first while, I was messaging all of them and trying to say something like, hey, here's something to do with your home city, or here's something to do with a game that you backed, or here's something to do with your backer number. And I was trying to write something different for everyone. I tried to kind of say thank you for a personalized thank you for backing, and hey, I see you're based in this city, that looks really cool. I looked at the geographic map, and in retrospect, like, was that creepy? I don't know, but like, I mean, it was public information, and so it was like, hey, I looked it up, it looks like it's got a net, it looks like it's got a good bay or something like that. Anyway, when it came time to sending out all the stuff, I've made little one-page comics. So I'd recently learned how to take one A4 sheet of paper, cut it in the middle, and turn it into a tiny 1, 2, 3. So that goes up to A7, yes, because A5, A6, A7. So yes, an A7 size comic by folding it into eighths and having the little cut. And I thought, oh, this would be a fun thing to kind of say thank you for backing this, and this is how it is. And then when I sent everything out, everything was sent out. I tried to do like some fancy art on it. I think at the time I was doing like my flying lips and my eye monster, which is like one eye on legs, and then I can't remember, like it was a comic, and all the comics I would have said thank you, and then I wrote the name of that person in red. Thank you, Felix, for backing, or thank you, Elaine, for backing, or thank you, Jess, for backing. And then on the outside of the envelope, I handed out the addresses, and I might have written, like, yeah, blah, blah, blah is a special person, or for Tony Boydell, I just swore at them because Tony's a fan of swearing, and so, yeah, I swore at them. And so, yeah, like, when you get something, that's, it's nice to get something. It's nice, like, oh, I got my thing. But then when there's something that's literally customized for that individual, and thank you, Elaine, I'm glad that you feel that way. It's a good sign, but yeah, and I do know that a lot of people felt the same, and I know that I've seen one person who actually kept the envelope because they appreciated the art so much, which is fantastic. And I think all of the envelopes had very, very similar art. But for the latest one, where it was like, I think 500-ish envelopes got sent out, all of them on one side had the self-portraits. Those were very, very similar. And then all the ones that bought 2 or more copies were in a big envelope, and they got basically a custom creature. And I think there is something that just feels like, oh, this is for me, this is special. And again, like, let's talk about reproducing that at scale, because Unfair, I think it was Unfair, the board game that's about a fun fair, but then in theory are meant to be able to mess a lot with people, but in reality, I found that sometimes you were able to mess with them and sometimes you weren't. But anyway, my review of Unfair is neither here nor there. I was lukewarm on it, but the packaging was amazing. It came in a big box where everyone's name, all the backers' names were written on this mass-produced box, and all the backers' names like were there. So that was, yeah, that was just really cool to see like, okay, the Ludicrous was there and the other people were there, and if I'd been there, sure, you kind of look at it and having a recognition of you on some mass-produced thing. Let me catch up a wee bit. Jess says that even though Jess and I are not married, we should have celebrated 10 years of friendship in 2020. I like this. I like this notion of occasions, like remembering the occasions, because then you've got a sense of, oh, we did this thing together, and by celebrating it, we keep the memory alive and we make it more special, and we know that the other person cares about it. And I think that there is something lovely. Of course, for me, it has to go hand in hand with communication, because the important thing is that you don't do something where you don't check in with the other person, like, is this what you want? Because maybe you do what you see as a favor, but then maybe actually, worst case scenario, it's actively problematic to them. Maybe you buy a giant piece of furniture for them, but it becomes like the figurative white elephant, where now they basically just have to get rid of it. And so, yeah, for sure, there's an element of, when you're doing something for someone, you have to think about also what you're asking of them, because there's always work incumbent upon the receiver of any gift. Like, there's work in accepting something, there's work in, yes, if we're going to make an anniversary of our thing, then it becomes like, oh, maybe the other person feels now obligation to remember these dates as well. And just says, even though we're not married yet, I didn't see the yet until just now. Apparently, if you're friends with someone for 7 years, after that you're stuck with them forever. Maybe, like, maybe after school. I mean, I could see that, but I can also definitely see how you can be friends with someone for 7 years, but then circumstances change and then you might not be. I mean, but yeah, I can definitely see that. And it is really cold, and yeah, absolutely ask them if it's okay for that person. And there's the sense of surprise, like, you might want to make sure, you might have someone who really loves surprises, but you have to be empathetic to their needs and their desires. Lots of love, Alex. Have a good, busy day at work. I hope you're doing generally well. Yeah, if you ask someone and then they say that they want something, I don't know the full story, but if you ask someone and then they said you want, if someone says, oh, I'd like that, and then you get them it, and then they get mad, that's really, really weird. That doesn't sound healthy at all. People have to take ownership of their own their own communication. And yeah, people have to be honest. That is really a problem. Now, yeah, let's talk about not just the having of the gift, but also if there's a competition, because I once tried to run a thing which was like a real life game of phrasal, and I've talked about this on the LDEC Twitter. When I was just running it myself, I said, okay, let's have people giving phrases for this new topic, and then whoever the winner is, they will pick the winner for the next week. they will pick the topic for the next week. And it lasted about 4 or 5 weeks until the winner was someone who said, oh, I don't know if I have the energy to pick a contest winner. I would rather not do that. And that was the first time that I realized, oh, wait, actually, even though I hadn't seen that as work, like I hadn't seen it as unpaid labor, it's not like that difficult to say, oh, this one's my favorite. But I could see, like, yes, actually, that could be emotional labor for someone. Maybe someone doesn't feel comfortable saying their favorite. Maybe someone doesn't want to have, like, if you say, oh, here's your avatar, which one's your favorite? Okay, that's an easy selection. If you say, what name would you like for it? Like, that's, wow, okay, you're asking me to be creative now? That could be challenging for some people. And then we had a conversation where I was like, oh, I thought it was just going to be named Bez. He said, oh, well, it could be, but it's a fantasy world, so it's up to you. And I think I gave it named, like, Bezarina, something like that. And if instead he said, oh, what name would you like? You can give it this name or anything else. It's entirely up to you. Then at least by having those two options, I don't know, like for me it wasn't like an issue, but it's just like reminding yourself that every single thing that you do for someone, there is some labor involved in receiving the gift. If you ask someone to, hey, here's a game, I love you, and here's a game that you might want to play with your family. Like, okay, have you genuinely given the person a game because you think it's right for them? Or have you given them a game because you secretly want them to become a gamer? Have you secretly given them a game because you want to play it with them? Are you just giving them lots of games and then now they're feeling, oh my gosh, I've got so many games to play and I've not played any of them. And now they're feeling like a bit stressed, and that's not healthy at all. But yeah, everyone has to be honest and everyone has to be thoughtful. So yeah, so just to go back to Jess's story, I asked them to tell me if they didn't want it. They didn't tell me, and when they received it, they got mad. So it hurts me. Jess, I can't remember the comments of when this pops up. I do apologise. That's the problem with kind of typed messages, and also there's a little bit of a lag. But no, being honest isn't impossible. Being honest is something that surely we can all strive for. Being honest is surely something that we can all do together, and surely being honest is just tell people. I mean, if there's something bothering you, don't let it build up. Say, hey, if someone, be honest. And it's not like, but Jason got me 2 hats and 2 dresses without asking, but he knows me well, says Jess, so it was okay. Jess says that was a typo. Jess meant to write, being honest is imperative. Yes, I would absolutely agree with that. And so, yeah, and I come back to the question at the start. When was the last time someone made you feel special? What happened? What did they do for you? When was the last time that, when was the last time that happened? And I'd like to talk about social media and general kind of talking to people and being in relationships, by which I mean like friendships and acquaintances and working relationships and all sorts of things. But like when I get messages from someone, if it's got text in it and it's like, oh, thank you very much, I kind of and it's more personalised. That feels like a little bit... That felt like I asked lots of people to come onto my 500th show. I'm hoping to have like a really nice 500th show, and like people are like, oh, thank you very much. And even like someone saying, oh, thank you very much, thank you for inviting me, knowing that I was special enough to them, that they felt special enough to be invited, that itself made me feel special. That's a weird thing. But also, like, when I came into the kitchen yesterday, the van had been stolen, and then I saw Zach and Josh, and Zach said, oh, how are you? And Zach said, oh, we've been baking. Would you like a brownie? It might cheer you up. And I was like, you know what? Yeah, I would like a brownie. And then, like, I was like, yeah, I'm feeling quite sad. And then, like, I said, like, can I have a hug? And then Zach was, yeah, of course. And then came over and hugged me. And it's like, having someone who's there for you, giving them the time, that was a really, really nice thing. So talking about things that made you feel special, Jess says, my therapist said kind things to me. Excellent. My student told me how much he appreciates me. Bez told me I'm good a few minutes ago. And Jess says that she wants to come on the show. It's the weekend, so she has to work that out. I will do it later and message you. So, like, the time, I would like people to kind of pick their time closer to the time. So, as long as you leave multiple time slots open, I don't want anyone to say, oh, I'm definitely doing this time right now. I don't have the capacity or mind flow. I will set up a doodle later. Thank you very much for the virtual hugs. No, it is on the 11th of December. And what did the people at the van company say? Asks Jess. Well, yeah, there was a lot of things said. Basically, there's nothing more that can be done. But yeah, I'd rather not go on about that. I feel like I've talked quite a bit about making people feel special. Was there anything else that I wanted to talk about? So, writing names, comics, customization, yep. When you customize things, it doesn't need to be done specifically for that person, but having things that are customized, like when I customize hundreds of envelopes at a time, but it's still, this was done, you are worth this. Yeah, I think that offering people, hey, this is your little creature if you would like it, and would you like to give it a name? That's actually a really cool idea that I could see myself employing for a game for the group about busy budget bags. I think that definitely on social media, we need to remember that people are individuals, and when we're messaging people, not just, yes, you can copy paste big chunks, but there should also be a sense of, yes, I'm writing with you for a particular reason. And so I don't have anything else to say about the topic. If anyone else has anything to say, then I hope that you will have a lovely day. For now, Jess, have a good weekend, have a good week. Yes, be kind to yourself. Lots of love. And over to you. What are you up to? You can share, but only if you want to. What are you up to today? I'm personally going to try and chat to the company. I'm going to listen to my phone messages to see who phoned me, in case it was the rental agency. But yeah, other than that, I am going to be today and tomorrow focusing on doing a whole bunch of artwork for a game about quickly grabbing creatures that are totally different and watching out for turnips. So for this game, I need to draw 36 creatures that are sometimes slightly different, sometimes totally different, but are somewhat similar. There's basically, I think, 4 heads, 3, no, 4 times 3, yeah, 4 times 3 times 3. 4 different styles of head, 3 different styles of body, 3 different styles of leggy appendages. And that is a game that I'm going to be colouring in. I'm going to try and do at least all the turnips today, because I think I need about 16 turnips. And then tomorrow I'll do all the creatures. And Chris is going to then scan that in and make a card back, and Rob will print it out. Maybe like 50 copies. And then I'll have it in time for Dragon Meet. New game. Hooray. That is the game which is for like 2 up to like maybe 4 players. It works fine for 4, but if you want more than that, you need to get another deck. And really, even if you wanted to play with 4, I think it would be even better like with 2 decks. I would kind of advise 1 deck per 3.5 people. That's a weird thing to say, but yeah, so it's a speed game, but it's only really for low player counts. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to focus on that. I'm going to do what I need to do with the Enterprise car rental company. Jess says, I am relaxing, but also badminton. I should go to badminton. Well, yes, I understand. Without putting a t-shirt on, they might not let you play. So have a good time, and yeah, have a good time doing badminton. Timmy says, I am about to lay down. I imagine that it's about like 2 or 4 a.m., something like that over there in Nova Scotia. So I hope you have a good morning and lots of love. Have a good lie down, have a good rest, have a good day when you wake up. And Elaine asks, is this the only game in existence with turnips in? I can't remember. I mean, I think I looked up turnip in Board Game Geek, and there's not many games. If there were any, it was like less than 1 page. And apparently in Nova Scotia, it's a bit later than I expected. 6:44. Wow, you are up late. But yes, I just want to say to all of you, so much love. Today I talked about making people feel special. I talked about joining the group. That group made me feel special. I talked about my own attempts, and hopefully it was worked. And people do seem to respond to that. People do share pictures of their things and say, oh, this was excellent packaging. I really like that. And yeah, I think that having our existence, a lot of it is kind of about our connections to others. I think that as a social creature, we do get value from being with others. And so life's all about making other people special on a small personal scale. Like you can't do it equally though. Like, in a sense, let's say my next Kickstarter gets to 1,000 backers, and there's like, or even more, and then I've got to send my game to thousands of people. Well, I would probably rather start making more games and doing art for more games rather than doing thousands of self-portraits. And at a certain point, it's also okay. Also, paying someone else to do the fulfillment does open me up more time to actually make the games. And I'm sure that people understand that. But then still, if they come and meet me at the convention, I will always be grateful. I will always answer the messages and read things and try to reply when people are talking about me, because that really matters. And I am so grateful and blessed but then on a greater scale, like the people who are actually surrounding me day to day, like McCall and Chris, you do have to work out extra ways to show love and appreciation for these people who continue to be in your life. I mean, I don't have a partner, but if I did, I would certainly be putting more effort into trying to help my partner feel special than I was doing into any Kickstarter backer. And so, of course, try to make everyone feel special, but it's a difference of degrees. And that is the recap and wrap up. If you want to check me out, I am basically Stuff by Bez everywhere. Twitter, Instagram, Twitch, YouTube, and stuffbybez.bigcartel.com if you want to buy my stuff. If you want to check out my future streams, I don't really have anything much lined up. Thursday is going to be Dina. We will talk about my shipping, and I'll get Chris to come onto that show as well. Other than that, yeah, nothing. I'm just going to be doing lots of streams. I will probably be doing some sort of streaming about the convention, where I am still planning to go to convention this weekend. And at Dragon Meet for episode 499, I am planning to do a long talk. I want to say thank you everyone who has been here. Thank you so much for being around. Thank you for watching and contributing and commenting. It's been really lovely. And so for now, there is only one thing left to say. And that one thing is, of course, to say bye, 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 bye. This is a goodbye song. Bye, 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 bye. Thank you for watching along. Bye, 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 bye. This is the end of the show. Bye, 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 bye. And now it's time to go do bye, 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 bye. This is a goodbye song. Bye, 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 bye. Thank you for watching along. Bye, 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 bye. This is the end of the show. Bye, 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 bye. And now it's time to go. Bye-bye, everyone. Bye-bye, Elaine. Have a super day yourself. Bye-bye, Timmy. Bye-bye, Jess. Bye-bye, everyone. Have a fantastic day and so much love. Bye-bye, Yoda. Bye-bye, Alex, as well, if Alex is still listening in. Bye-bye, everyone. I hope you're excellent. And yes. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.